The screams echoed through the house on East New York Street, but no one did anything. Neighbors thought it was just roughhousing, not realizing the horror that was happening behind closed doors. Inside, 16-year-old Sylvia Likens was being tortured by the very people who should have protected her. Her tragic story remains one of the most harrowing tales of abuse in American history. In the summer of 1965, Sylvia and her younger sister Jenny were left in the care of Gertrude Banaszewski. Their parents, carnival workers, had to leave town for work. For $20 a week, Gertrude agreed to take the girls in. Initially, things seemed fine, but when payments started arriving late, Gertrude's frustrations turned towards Sylvia. What began as insults and minor punishments soon escalated into unspeakable abuse. Sylvia was accused of being a thief, a liar, and in one of Gertrude's wild accusations, a prostitute. Sylvia was none of those things, but that didn't stop Gertrude's fury. But it didn't stop with words. The abuse quickly turned violent. Sylvia was beaten regularly, deprived of food, and humiliated. And soon, Gertrude wasn't the only one involved. Her children, following their mother's lead, began joining in. Even neighborhood kids took part, tormenting Sylvia in cruel, unimaginable ways. She was burned with cigarettes, slapped and kicked. In one horrifying act, Gertrude heated a needle and carved the words, "I'm a prostitute and proud of it," into Sylvia's stomach. So why didn't anyone step in to help? That's the most haunting part of Sylvia's story. People saw what was happening. Neighbors heard her cries. Schoolmates saw the bruises. But no one intervened. Sylvia's suffering went on, unchecked, as Gertrude tightened her grip on the household, turning it into a fortress of cruelty where no one questioned her reign of terror. As the abuse worsened, Sylvia grew weaker. She tried to protect her younger sister, Jenny, who had polio and wore leg braces, from becoming the next target. But Sylvia's strength wasn't enough. By October 1965, Sylvia's body was failing. She was malnourished, dehydrated, and covered in bruises and burns. On October 26, after months of relentless torture, Sylvia succumbed to a brain hemorrhage. But even after her death, Gertrude tried to cover her tracks. She forced Sylvia to write a note, claiming she had run away and been attacked by strangers. However, Jenny, Sylvia's sister, whispered to police, "Get me out of here and I'll tell you everything." The truth soon came out, and the nation was horrified. Gertrude Banaszewski, her children, and several neighborhood boys were arrested and charged with Sylvia's murder. At trial, Gertrude's defense tried to argue that she was mentally unstable, but the evidence of her sadistic behavior was overwhelming. She was sentenced to life in prison, but the public was outraged and she was released on parole after serving just 20 years. The children involved received lighter sentences, though the damage they inflicted was irreversible. So what does Sylvia's story tell us? The murder of Sylvia Likens is not just a tale of one woman's evil. It's a tragedy that highlights the failures of an entire community. The neighbors who heard her screams, the classmates who saw her wounds, and the adults who didn't step in all bear some responsibility. Sylvia's death is a stark reminder of what happens when people look the other way, when they assume someone else will intervene. Sylvia's tragic end has since been immortalized in films like The Girl Next Door, 2007, and An American Crime, 2007. But no dramatization can fully capture the depth of the horror she endured. Sylvia's story stands as a cautionary tale about the dangers of silence and complicity, about the horrors that can unfold in ordinary neighborhoods when no one dares to speak out.